Hope I ain't got to read nothing. Okay. Oh, yeah, I can hear myself. Hi.
All right, here we go, folks. We are live here at Square Media Studios, and this show is The Project with Steve Rutherford. I appreciate everybody being here, and make sure are we good to go? Let me check my phone just to make sure,
Okay.
because that would not be good.
That would not be good.
Yes. Make sure we got some volume. I like that. As long as we're up somewhere, I'm good to go.
Okay.
And you know something, so you let me sit in this old chair the whole time.
How did I know where you were supposed to be sitting? There you go.
Awesome. Okay. Hey, folks, listen, thank you for joining the show. Appreciate that. And we're going to have a great show tonight. It's not often I get to bring someone on that I haven't seen in a very, very long time. But Lisa and I had known each other for years
Yes.
and running into each other about a month or so ago. Started talking. I said, "Listen, you just got to come on the show." So, here she is, Lisa Crawford. She's on the show. Lisa, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. It's
Awesome.
wonderful.
Awesome. So let's go and get this part of the show out of the way. Tell me exactly. I mean, where are you from? Where'd you go to school? All that good stuff.
I am from Charlotte, North Carolina. Born and raised, homegrown right here. Went to school at North Mecklenburg for high school, and then went to UNC Greensboro, Spartans for college.
Spartans.
Spartans.
Yes.
Right on.
Right.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yes, graduated finance degree.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thought I was going to work on Wall Street
Right.
until I realized Wall Street was in New York.
That's yeah.
I was like, no.
But at least the second largest financial district is here in Charlotte, though.
It is. It wasn't then, but it is
Yeah.
now.
Did you
Yeah.
did you ever work in finance here in Charlotte, though?
Never.
Wow.
I decided that I was an event planner right off the gate, right out the door.
Really?
Yes.
Hold on, I just got to check something.
Okay.
That's kind of crazy.
It is.
Oh yeah, we're good. Okay. So, degree in finance,
That's right.
and you took to event planning like it was
Yeah.
your left hand or something.
Yeah. I started when I was a kid. You know, we were going to do a lemonade stand on the street, and I lived on a street where there were 7 boys. And I was always here's what you need to do, here's what you need to get, here's what.
You were always running things.
I was always, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I later grew up and realized that was event planning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's right.
So, but you've tell folks. Let's talk about your, I don't know, your career path, if you will. You started out working where and doing what?
I started working at the Charlotte Chamber when I got out of school. I
Okay.
went straight, and I think that's where I really formalized my event planning skills. Someone took me under their wing and showed me the ropes, made me understand that event planning was really a profession.
Right.
I really could do it.
Right.
And so I worked there for about 3.5 years.
Talking to the mic.
I worked there for about 3.5 years until I realized that I got all the blame when things didn't go quite right and none of the credit when it went perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm good on this.
Right.
So I just
Exactly.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I listen. I totally get that. Totally get it. But so you've been doing event planning ever since that time, or did you really?
Well, yeah, I will always be doing events.
Right.
But I've always been doing, but I've done so many things in the meantime
Mm-hmm.
in and around events. I left the chamber, went full-time event planning, did it straight for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, decided that I wanted to do a restaurant.
Really?
Yeah. I'd always wanted to do a restaurant.
Oh, you know, it's dumb me, Crawford's.
Right.
I'm like,
You look
really?
like voila.
What restaurant are you talking about, Lisa? Yeah,
Crawford's Urban Bistro.
yeah.
Yes.
Wow, that was a hot spot. That was really cool.
That was a great place.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because I really decided one day I woke up and I was like, either I'm going to do it now or I'm going to take it off my life's plan.
Mm.
And I really just started researching it. And, the story of the restaurant is a very interesting one that we can talk about another day. But how it all came about is, when God has put something in before you,
Right.
it just works. You don't know how it works, but all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, I really have to do this now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. So I went to the restaurant, had the restaurant for I think 4.5 years.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Then left the restaurant and couldn't decide what I wanted to do. Went back to event planning, sort of.
But did you let it go because it wasn't doing well, or what?
No, it was actually doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
We ran into some real problems early on.
Okay.
Being new in the business, I would tell any entrepreneur, be prepared to fall before you really do take off and sprint.
Yeah, that's true.
And really, even though Crawford seemed to be running, we were really still, I, as the owner, was still crawling. And there were a lot
I
of
get
things
that.
I learned along the way that were invaluable
Right,
today.
right.
But it was it was crucial at the time.
Sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. What I'm trying to do right now is get this. I'm trying to do a watch party. Give me just a second so I can get this thing up.
No
and
worries.
running.
I often tell people when they ask me about Crawford's, I always tell them that, it was a labor of love, and it was something that, I'll tell anybody who has a love for something and it's burning inside of them,
Mm-hmm.
just do it.
Right. Yeah.
Just do it. I mean, the only restaurant experience I had was I worked at Burger King on Bakersfield Road from the time I was 13 until I
The
graduated
same one.
from,
Well, it's only been one.
yeah, until I
Wow.
graduated from high school, until I was 18.
So did you live near off of Beatty's
I grew up on the Ford.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Right by Friendship.
Oh, right back there. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up on the Ford. So yeah, that's the only restaurant experience I had. But I knew as an event planner, bringing groups to town all the time, that there was something missing in our restaurant world at the time that I wanted to provide for not only our guests that would come into town, but our good old folks that just come by and, have some catfish, collard greens.
But what was missing, you think?
It was the feel
Okay.
of Charlotte. Like I
Okay.
wanted them to get not only the feel of the food,
Right.
but also sort of the love of the people.
Right.
And I didn't think anywhere in Charlotte provided that. And so when I set out to do Crawford's, not only was it about the food
Right.
and the service, but it was also about the feel. When you went
Right.
in, you felt like, I know these people. If I got a problem, somebody here got me. They can
Right.
direct me somewhere.
Yeah.
Everybody was welcome. It was the feel that I was looking for. And
From what I remember, your dad was involved in it too, right?
he was, yeah.
Okay.
He helped me raise the money,
Okay.
and he hung around and
Oh yeah.
made sure people felt at home, felt
yeah,
welcome. That's
yeah.
right. That was a part of it.
Wow. Yeah, that was. Do you think you'll ever bring it back, or what do you think?
It's funny. I got a message from Carrie Mitchell today
Wow. Yeah.
saying, you know what? We miss Crawford so much. People that didn't experience it have no idea, but we need another one. I hope you'll do it again.
Wow.
I have no intentions.
Yeah.
I have no intentions. I'd help somebody else do it.
Because it's well. First of all, let me just say this. I know that there's a lot involved with
Oh,
First of all, owning a business, but a restaurant is an entirely different animal.
that's right. It
I mean,
is. It's an entirely different. I mean, I was literally working 70, 80, 90 hours a week, all day,
not
every day.
surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot. And, people are interesting. People are great. People are terrible. People are wonderful.
It's a combination of things.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a lot. It was a lot. And employees, when I left there, I love my whole staff.
Right.
Everybody that worked for me, I had some amazing people. They really kept me sane. And they
Yeah.
also made me crazy. And I said, Lord, I don't ever want to have employees again.
It's
Yeah.
it can be tough.
Yeah, 60 people with all different personalities.
You had 60
stuff.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it
Right.
was a lot. And I was 30 and I wasn't married and, you know, it was a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. That is
So
a
I still wanted to run and play and do. I had
Mhm.
this business that was very demanding.
Yep.
And so it was a lot. Yeah.
What did you do after that?
Actually, I went into probably a little bit of a depression. I went into the state
Really?
where, I had to grieve. I had to grieve for it for all my dreams.
But by
that I
letting
put
it
in.
go, you had to grieve.
Yeah, I had to grieve.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to grieve it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Though.
Yeah, I had to grieve. And I think grief is so important. I mean, you have to go through that.
Right.
And I took the time and I did that. And then I tried to figure out what do I want to do next.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to work for Wells Fargo, helped build a new corporate center that we never got to really occupy. Became Duke Energy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
awesome.
that's right.
Yeah, yeah. So I did worked on the trading floors. I just hodgepodged my way
Right.
around. But I think the main thing that I learned during that period of time was that I had so much to give to other people.
Right.
And what made me feel better about where I was what I could give to other people.
Right.
And that's when I really started coaching.
Ah.
That's when I really started coaching at that point.
But
I had been doing it off and on.
I was going to say,
know,
but it wasn't
yeah,
really clear to you.
it wasn't clear to me that at the time. It was just what fulfilled me at the time.
Okay.
Having people that, called on me
Right.
to help them work through things in their life. And it helped bring me to a center place
Uh-huh.
where I could get back in the groove and sort of figure out, okay, what am I going to do next?
Right. Right.
What am I going to do next? And so I was doing things all along. I worked the bond campaigns. I worked on other people's political campaigns.
Right.
I was big
Yeah,
in
you were
politics.
always hustling.
Yeah, I'm always, exactly.
Mhm.
Very creative, always looking for a creative outlet.
Yeah.
So it's been a labor of love, actually. It's every opportunity that I've had to do something, I gave something and I got something back.
Right.
And that was the important part.
What's your girlfriend's name? Your best girlfriend? Your best friend?
Vicky
Vicky.
Foster. Yes.
So, what does she think about the path that you've been on? I'll give it the last 5 years.
She has. It's funny. I wish she could answer that question because
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
she's like, you need to get to it. I mean, I think that's what she would say to me every time. She's like, okay, you have way too many talents, way
Yeah.
too much. And what you need to be doing is what you are excellent at. You need to stop doing all this other stuff and commit.
So basically, she said, "Stop playing around."
Yeah, quit playing around. She said it 100 times. Quit playing around
Wow.
and get to it.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So, are you still playing around?
No, I think she thinks now I'm kind of centering in on where I belong. Being here today is a part of that.
Wow.
Yeah, is a part of that.
So, but from the last time you and I really talked to now, you now have a son.
I do.
That was different.
That is very different.
So, how did this come about, and why?
Yeah. So.
Tough questions.
I actually always thought that I would have a house full of kids.
Oh wow. Okay.
I thought I would have, my own basketball team,
Right.
I'd be, but I also, from the very beginning, when I was in college, So a friend of mine in college was gang raped.
Mm.
And because she was drinking and
Right,
she was
right.
somewhere, just, I mean, that's not why she was raped, but she was
I
just
no,
in
I
a
get it. I get it.
vulnerable situation.
Right.
And at that point, I decided that, one, I was going to be very intentional about how I walked in life.
Right.
And I decided that I was not going to have a child unless I was married and in a loving relationship.
Sure.
So you see this finger right here?
I do.
It is bare.
I see skin.
Yes, skin. There's nothing there. So I never got married.
Right.
So as time went on, I was in my 20s, I was in my 30s, and then I was in my 40s. And I was like, wow, this is not going to happen for me.
Right. Right.
And so at 40, about between 42 and 43, I sort of chalked up the kid thing. I was like, okay, I'm okay with it. I prayed
Yeah.
about it. I grieved over it,
Right.
and then I moved on. I was like, okay, my life is going to be filled with something else.
Right.
I'm going to love all my clients' kids and the kids around me
Sure.
and that thing. And one day, out of the blue, I was at Red Lobster,
And all of a sudden, you had an immaculate conception.
and somebody
Kidding.
somebody gave me a child. So
Wait. Is that? I mean, seriously?
I'm serious. So you remember you saw me a while ago do something called my one woman show,
Yes.
and it was called Who Knew?
Right.
That's the whole story.
No kidding.
Yes, the whole story. So yeah, so I had no intentions, but I tell you, God has a way of
Right.
putting things in front of you,
Of
and
course.
and so now he's 5.
Wow.
He's an amazing blessing in my life.
Yeah.
I am so grateful.
How
so
did
grateful.
that change your life, though? What did you feel? Did you feel the change? Did you go through something or what?
I almost
If that makes
felt it.
sense.
Yeah, I almost felt it almost immediately.
Right.
I mean, it's almost, even though at the time it wasn't to be permanent.
Right.
It was only I was standing in and just trying to help out and that kind of thing. But even then, my life changed that moment.
Right. Sure.
And it never changed back.
Wow.
I think it would be the same, like I've never had a child of my own, but I would think it would be the same as somebody delivering a child. I mean, soon it comes into the world, everything about your life changes.
So something maternal happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It did. And I someone needed for me to take care of them and have their best interest 24/7, 365.
Wow.
And I fell right into it. I fell right into it. To mommy.
Interesting.
Interesting. Who knew?
Well, right. Right.
Because
right,
I
right.
didn't. I did not see it coming. And it was a long struggle.
Right. Right. Right.
But it worked out, and he's amazing. He is amazing.
Lisa, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really, really awesome.
Yeah. Who knew?
I know.
Yeah,
I
who knew?
know.
So I'm gonna do my Who Knew show again. It sold out when I did
Right.
it originally. So I'm gonna do it back by popular demand because a lot of people did not get to see it.
Right.
So I will do it again sometime in the coming months.
Did you do it just one time?
I did it one time,
Gotcha.
and I only intended to do it once.
Okay.
And I never even intended to do that because I've never done a
Right.
show. I've never done that whole. A lady I met at a luncheon had this whole prophecy over me. This older white
Right.
lady, just walked over to me and was like, "Hey, you're gonna do a one-woman show, and it's gonna be, and you're gonna live, and it's gonna." And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I looked at the lady beside me, and I was like, "What is a one-woman show?" Because at the time, I mean, I knew Whoopi had kind of done a one-woman show,
Yeah,
something that
yeah.
kind of, but I really didn't know what that was. I kicked it to the curb, didn't think about it again
For how long?
until the very next day.
Oh, the next day.
I was
okay.
I was in a meeting in Raleigh,
Right.
and we had a new girl on our team. And after the meeting, she was talking, and she said that she had done her thesis
Mm-hmm.
on a one-woman show.
Get out of here.
Um,
I mean, I believe you, but it's
I was
just,
like, what? She's like, what about what? You know, and I was like, a one woman show you did? She's like, yeah, I did. I was a theater major and I did. And she's doing our IT, our technical, whatever. So I was
Right.
totally bewildered that she would say
Right.
that. And then I said, really? And I said, and we call it breadcrumbs. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's leading you somewhere.
Exactly.
And I was like, wow. Saturday, 7 days from that day, I was sitting in my computer looking up some stuff, put my head down to write some notes,
Right.
look back up, and it was an advertisement for a one-woman show that was happening in Columbia, South Carolina.
You just kept getting pinged about it.
That's exactly right. And I
Wow.
said, that's all I needed.
That's a heck of a message.
I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to do a one-woman show.
Yeah. Yeah.
I figured it out as I go. I did one in 6 weeks. Sold it out.
6 weeks
Got
later.
a standing ovation at the end.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How long was the show itself?
The
Like
show
an
was
hour,
about
2
an hour.
hour? Okay.
No, it was about an hour. About an hour and 5 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Lisa.
Yeah.
That's really, really awesome.
Yeah. It turned out.
You just don't know where your life is going to go, do you?
You never know.
No.
Mm-mm. And I think so many people lock themselves in a box.
Oh, for sure. They do.
Yeah. And
All
they just
the time.
they don't allow themselves. And I don't have those barriers.
Right.
I
right.
allow myself that if I'm being led one way, even though it sounds crazy like a one woman show, somebody's never done theater, who doesn't even know what a one woman show is. And in 10 weeks from the time the lady told me, I just did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think, if you allow yourself to be in the box, you'll stay in the box.
You're going to stay right there
That's right.
and never grow.
And never try or do anything different.
Right.
I told people when I did it, this is a one night exclusive.
Right.
One night only.
Right.
And here I go
Wow.
doing it again.
So tell me this then. Do you have a I guess we'll call it this gift
Yes.
where I'm not too sure if we said that people just walk up to you, but you help men, I guess. So tell me about this.
So I help everybody.
Right.
I help men and women. But what I found is that men have a sense of comfort with me that I don't think I realized or I really paid attention to
Right.
until, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago.
Sure.
I had been, kind of helping people through situations, work
Right.
through issues and challenges that they were having in their life. It seems like I've always done it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was
Excuse me.
then that I realized that a lot of people that kept coming to me were men.
Right.
And that I had a way of, just a natural way of communicating with them that that made them feel comfortable, allowed them to be vulnerable.
So they opened up to you.
Yeah, they opened up. They could tell me their problems, their innermost feelings, their troubles,
Right.
their mess,
Yep,
you
yep.
know, all of it. And allowed me to challenge them to help them figure out, how to work through it.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. Is it enough? Is it a thing where you're often called to do this? I say call, but do people just call you and say, hey, I got to talk to you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it really started, I think, further back than I will probably own, that I didn't realize at that
Right.
point. But I was traveling a lot, and I
Uh-huh.
was often on airplanes. And it just seemed to be that I always sat beside a man, and we always ended up talking about relationships. We always ended up talking about where they were and what was going on and
Right.
the troubles that they were having. And they would follow up. I'd say, well, call me and let me know, or let me know if you need anything else, or
Right.
let me know how it worked out,
Sure.
or this. And then they would call and say, hey, do you mind if I give your number to my brother-in-law
Right.
or my friend at work or somewhere? So early on, I mean, it was probably the early 90s.
Oh, okay.
That, people started calling.
Mm-hmm.
And I started leaving messages on my voicemail, these sort of inspirational messages
Right.
to people going through things. And I get all of these hang-up calls all day long. And I was like, what is that? I didn't realize people were calling to listen to my messages.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it sort of started back
Ah,
then.
okay.
And it just carried on. And then the universe just sort of got bigger and
Sure,
bigger.
sure.
And then that people were coming from everywhere. Yeah.
And so, but they wanted, I guess everybody's ask was a little bit different.
Oh yeah. I mean, everybody's situation was different. I
Right.
mean, whether they were in a relationship and happily in it and wanted to stay because they felt like their spouse or the person that they were with wasn't happy anymore,
Right.
or they were married and ready to go, and didn't really know how to leave and leave in the right way.
Yeah, yeah.
Or they were just struggling and they wanted to figure out how to do it better, how to be
Right.
better, or they got caught, or they got caught. I got a lot of got caught.
Really?
Yeah, I got a lot of got
So,
caught.
but they, hey,
Yeah.
Lisa, I got caught. What should I do?
No, it was very much. It depends on where they, if I know them already, they're
Right.
like, "Hi."
That's kind of a dead giveaway, I
Yeah,
guess.
I'm
Huh?
like, "Uh-oh, what happened?" That's usually how I say, "What
Right.
happened?" or "What'd you do?"
Right, right.
And then they'll start.
So
See what happens.
you have long relationships.
Oh,
with some of
long time relationships with them. I mean, I think my thing, I feel like men don't have anybody to talk to.
right,
They don't have anybody that they can trust, that they can be vulnerable, that won't use the information that they know about them or their
Right.
vulnerabilities, won't use it against them,
right, right, right.
and won't shame them about it or judge them because I mean, if you ever talk to them, they'll say, I always say, I don't judge, I just coach.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
don't judge, I just coach. And so I think men often struggle in silence. They suffer in silence.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they stressed out because they don't have a person that honestly really does care. And I
Right,
really do.
right, right.
And, I think my best friend would say I care to a fault. I care too deeply
Right.
sometimes.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it does matter. And I think that they have learned that it's a safe place for them
Sure, sure.
and that I challenge them. I'm not a male basher or lover. I really follow the facts and what I think is the truth and what's real. And I ask them questions about it so that they come to conclusions and answers, a lot of times on their own.
Right.
But sometimes I help them sort of see it differently.
No, you don't have a degree in relationships, I guess. So so it's what how does this come about?
It was gifted to me.
Okay.
It was simply gifted to me.
Yeah.
I mean, people have gifts. What's the lady who's a gymnast that just broke all those records? I love
Simone
Simone
Biles.
Biles. Yeah, she was given a gift.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Bach was given a gift.
Yep.
People who have these amazing talents. The person who created the drone was given a gift.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of us never find our true gift.
I agree with that.
Yeah, we never find
Yeah.
a true gift, and we never recognize it, and then try to figure out what's your duty, what's supposed to be done, how are you supposed to use that gift,
Right. Right.
and it's just who I am, and I don't
Does
shy
it-
away from that.
Let me ask you this: do you think it helps that you're not a board certified psychologist?
I think it helps sometimes.
Yeah.
I think that people feel more comfortable, more I'm just a person who's listening to you and can make sense of what you're saying,
Right.
and can simply ask you some questions
Right.
and give you some perspectives that you may not have thought about or considered, that make you think. And sometimes all we need is to be able to see things a little bit differently.
Right. Right.
Because I think we all have the answers in us. We all
Right.
have the will and the know-how to fix things that are going on. Sometimes we just get off track.
Right.
Sometimes we can't get out of our own feelings or our own perspective to be able to come to a reasonable conclusion or a reasonable action.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
A lot of men are I tell them, there are these powerful men who lead these huge organizations, and they come up with these strategic plans, and they come
Right.
out with these ways to deal with takeovers and all this kind of stuff. And they're very strategic,
Yep.
and they're very deliberate and
Yep.
intentional. And then when they get home, they lose all that. They forget how to compromise, and they forget how to negotiate.
But
and they
isn't that a
forget-
totally different
it-
thing?
no,
It's not really.
it's not. No, it is not.
Okay.
It is not.
So they should be able to transfer that from work to home.
Yes.
But for some reason, they're not able to. There's a breakdown somewhere. I'm guessing.
Well, for the same reason you immediately said, well, no, it's different. It's the same reason. It's like you think,
okay.
but it's because we feel like, because we have emotion, and because we love this person, or because we're committed to them, or because we're mad at them,
Right.
these different emotions, that we can't use the tools that we have. Most
Yeah,
of the
I get
times,
that.
the reason why we can't solve our own problems is because we forget we have tools, or we don't have any tools.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to give tools when you're lacking them.
Right.
I try to give them some ways to handle situations that maybe just be another tool.
Let me see if I can. This slide is the next one. Yeah, this is the right one. So let me just read some of this stuff.
Okay.
Men are more affected by rocky relationships than women, according to this research done at Wake Forest University. Men are more affected by rocky relationships. Okay.
Yes.
Research says that women have a harder time dealing with a breakup, but guys feel stressed when a relationship hits a rough patch.
Yes. I think that's all true. So if we look at the first one, the rocky relationships.
Right.
Men like things straightforward.
Oh, just even
They just like even
just-
keel,
right.
just go with it. Now, there's some bumps in the road,
Right.
and that's fine. But when it gets rocky,
Right, right.
again, they lose those tools
It's
about how to
unstable.
communicate,
Yeah.
what's right, what do I say, what do I not say,
Right.
Because we can challenge you on every point.
Ain't that the damn truth?
It is.
Oh my God.
It is.
Yeah.
And when do you bow out of a conversation? When do you listen?
Right.
When do you touch?
Yeah.
When do you make some small gestures that say, I'm really trying to understand you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, sometimes men's body language says something totally different to a woman.
Sure. Yeah. Of course.
So, yeah. And it's the small things that I think, tools, that if we had those, men have those, they can handle those situations better.
Right.
And we can get to the real root of what's going on and why, there's friction or distrust or anxiety or,
Right.
Feeling of abandonment. There are all these these big issues, but they're really small when you break them down.
Right,
It's
right.
about a thing. How do we fix that thing?
Let me ask you this. So let's just say you've got a girlfriend and she's been trying for years to get some guy or something. Excuse me. And I guess I could flip that. If you got a guy friend and he's been trying to get this woman, but do you look at what they've been doing over the course of several years and say, listen, you haven't changed anything? How do you expect to get anybody by doing the same thing? Or how do you approach that?
Yeah, well, it depends on what the situation is. I mean,
Right.
are they in a committed relationship? See, I think a lot of times we got to start with, are you really in a relationship? A lot of times, we as women, we think we're in a relationship
Right.
when a man has a different perspective of that interaction.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think we have to figure out, depending on who I'm talking to. So I'm
Sure,
always committed to my client, whoever it is that is talking to me. So if it's the
Right.
man, I am saying, are you in a relationship with this woman that has this need, or you feeling the pressure from her? Okay, how is this? Because I think you have to start at the beginning. A lot of people want to start the problem. It's never the problem. We have to go
It's
back
always
fur-
something else.
Yeah, it's always something
Okay.
else. But we have to go back further and see.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hear often that men often say, I told her I didn't want a relationship. When looking for a girlfriend, I'm not looking for a wife. I
Right.
don't want to do it. Okay. So let's talk about how this relationship happens. Well, You talk to her every day. You talk to her in the morning when you wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to her during lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Call her when you get off. Figure out what are we going to eat for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we going this weekend?
Yep.
What's happening for the holidays? What are we going to buy such and such as a gift? So when you start acting like it's a relationship, it's not what you say, but it's what you do. If you can say all day,
Right.
I'm not in it, but if you act like my boyfriend, guess what? You're my boyfriend.
You're my boyfriend.
Right, you're my boyfriend, right.
Yeah.
So I have a perspective of this relationship, and you have taken a position that says, I told you that I'm not looking for a girlfriend, but I'm also behaving like a boyfriend.
Right. Right.
So we have to get them to understand and see that how you've done these mixed messages and how you've confused her and her emotions about where you're going.
You know, it's funny. I went to a wedding this past weekend. Great couple, and but years ago when they first started dating, you know, she was really into him, and you know, she's like, Steve, I really like him, and I mean, I don't want to lose him, and what should I do? I said, just leave him. Like, what? Leave him. I said, let me just be honest. I said, if you were my daughter, I would tell you to leave him right now. Bottom line is, he's not ready.
Right.
I said, if he's not ready, it doesn't matter what you do, it's not going to happen.
That's right.
So he wasn't ready financially. He wasn't ready mentally. He wasn't there. And I told her, I said, when a man is ready, you will know that he is ready.
Right.
He'll
You
go-
can't chase him away.
Right, right.
You can't chase him
That
away.
is
You're
so
like,
true.
oh my goodness.
Oh, like, would you please go to hell away?
Yeah,
Go.
quit calling me.
Right.
Goodness gracious. You're right. Yeah.
So, yeah, but my point is, those things do happen, and
do.
it's great when when people are, what do they call it, evenly yoked. That's
Yes,
nice,
that's
but
nice.
that's not really truly reality. I mean, I don't think it is.
It's not truly reality,
Yeah.
no. But you do have to you have to get to the same place.
You
I don't
do.
think people start out in the same place. I
No,
don't
no,
think
no.
they venture out to the same place.
Right.
I think eventually they can get to the same place.
Right.
I don't think it's likely that they get there at the same time.
No,
Ever.
no.
You know, even when they are at the altar,
Right.
do I think that they are there all the time
It's
at
rare.
the same place?
I
Right.
think it's rare.
It is.
Yeah.
Timing, you know, I think timing is everything.
Mhm.
You know, I think when you catch a man at the right time, he'll make those commitments. That
Yeah.
then still doesn't mean he's ready.
No, it does not.
Right. Still
No, it
doesn't mean he's
doesn't.
ready. Yeah.
Oh my God, I can tell you.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, I can tell you. But yeah, I mean, guys, we have to. I think men go through cycles of readiness,
I think that's true.
if that makes sense.
It is true.
You know,
I agree, and
um,
I've seen it.
Right. Yeah, I'm
Yes,
sure you have.
I've
I'm
seen
sure
it,
you have.
yes.
There's going to be some times where that person is ready to, I don't know, get married. I'm
Right.
ready. Okay, perfect. You know, 5 years later, they're ready to do something else,
That's right.
which is unfortunate.
It is.
And don't get me wrong. Now, there's women that do the same thing.
Oh, yeah,
it
no
doesn't
doubt.
all fall on the man.
Yeah.
But anyway,
And doing something else does not necessarily mean not doing it with his wife.
right. It
It
does
does
not.
not.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily. But the scope of the relationship could change.
Yes. Yes.
And the
yes, it
direction
can.
of it,
Yep.
and how you live in it, could definitely be a challenge if you're not willing to change with it.
Let me read this. It says, fear of rejection. It's more common for men than women to ask a person out on a date or for sex, and there's always a possibility that this person won't be interested, which is true.
Yes.
Hey, I know I don't know what you're doing later, but can I come by? No. What? So anyway,
No.
that was my nice, sexy voice. You didn't like that voice? So, but yeah, rejection. So, another thing for men: hiding depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues from partners. Pressure to be the financial provider. Let me back up. Hiding depression
Yes.
and anxiety. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. It is. And men suffer in silence They're going through things, and they don't have people that they trust, that they know won't use this against them, won't judge
Right.
them, will allow them to be
Yeah.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't have that. Well, they have it, but they don't trust it.
Right. Right.
They
Right.
have it, but they don't trust it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's easier to talk to a stranger about the real deep things that are going on with you because they don't know your friends, and
Right.
they don't know your upbringing, they don't know your parents, and they
Exactly.
don't know that. So they can really be free to really express what's really going on with them. And they need that.
Mm-hmm.
And so women, I'd say all the time, I talk to women too.
Right.
I love women, and I love our perspective, but we have everybody to talk to because we
Right,
don't have
right,
that.
right. Yeah.
I will sit and talk to you
Yep.
across in the doctor's office. We'll start telling you about the morning I had with my husband,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, or whatever. So we have a much freer ability to express our emotions and get feedback and have an outlet
Right.
for it.
Right. Right.
Men are not going to do that.
Yeah.
They're not just going to pick up that conversation
No.
and and that's why they suffer in silence with depression and anxiety and yeah, they suffer. And we as women don't think that men feel. And I am here to tell you from years and years and years and years of talking to men that they hurt, they suffer, they worry, they have anxiety.
Right.
They have aspirations and dreams in relationships just like women do.
Sure.
I mean, they just show them differently.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate that, and I think that's why, I feel a part of my purpose
Yeah.
is to talk and to be an outlet. One, to tell you the truth, not everybody that knows me know I shoot it straight.
Right, right.
But it's with love. It's hard. It's hard
It's with
sometimes.
love,
And I challenge you and challenge your beliefs and your values and how you perceive things. But with the results of having a conclusion of you feeling like I got this and I can handle it.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's a lot to take on, though. I think from your perspective,
Yeah.
you're taking on somebody else's grief, their issues, their whatever. I mean, so let me ask you this: are there times when you need to go lay on the couch?
Oh yeah, yeah. Listen, I wear people. My people. Remember, I'm a girl. I got people I can call. My best friend.
Right.
We talk every morning. I go, girl, let me tell you.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I have it too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think, I think everybody has to have it. You have to have people that you can go to, that you can trust, that are gonna give you good advice.
Yeah.
And so advice. Men get a lot of advice. Women too. Let me
Right.
say this. People get a lot of advice.
Sure.
People get a lot of advice. Hurt people, and
yeah.
they carry hurt, and they speak from a hurt place.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm above that, but what I'm saying is be careful when you get advice from just everybody,
Right.
because people carry things with them.
Oh, for
You
sure.
know, and a lot of times we speak from that place.
But isn't that like bringing baggage into a relationship?
It is, but I mean, usually, I call Vicky.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I know Vicky's perspective. I know where she's coming from.
Right.
I know her hurt. I know. So when she says, but we know each other well enough that I know she's gonna put that aside
Right.
and be able to give me some good advice on what I'm going through.
Sure. Sure.
So you need to make sure that the people that you're getting good advice from, it's really good advice from a really neutral place.
Right. Right.
So,
right.
because I coach couples, I usually start with husbands. And once I sort of get them together and right, they'll a lot of times
Yeah.
bring their wives in to the conversation. Because I often say it only takes one person in a relationship to change. Because once you change, the other person has no choice but to change with you because you're
Sure.
not doing the same things.
Right. Right. Right.
So a lot of times I end up with both. And what will always be said is I'm never on anybody's side.
Right.
I'm just on the side of what I think is right, what I think is true by what has been said.
Are there situations where you actually having to call out both parties?
Oh, often, most of the time,
Wow.
because it's never one person doing everything.
Okay.
Some person, you, I can bring some things out in you,
Right.
and I know that, so I keep picking at it.
Mm-hmm.
I keep picking at it. I know it's gonna set you off, and so I keep doing things because I'm retaliating, because I'm hurt, because
Right.
I'm
Right.
angry or whatever. So that's even equal culpability.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, often, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
And usually challenge both of them to see it the other person's perspective.
Got you. Got you.
So
So let me read this piece. I'll say
yeah,
pressure to be the financial provider. That is a lot of pressure on a guy.
it is.
I know some guys who date and marry women who make vast amounts of money, so they don't have to worry about that. But that's on them.
Yeah, but then listen, it's yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I have some of those too.
Yeah.
And then they feel emasculated and feel like, they don't not the head of their households, and I mean, so their stuff comes with everything.
Oh, sure.
So you have to be prepared. So yeah, you can probably marry a woman or have a woman in your life that makes, 3 times what you make,
Mm-hmm.
but also be comfortable in the fact that, she may feel like she has more say
Right. Right.
in your household,
Yeah.
And is that an environment you feel comfortable with?
It's funny you say that, but you do have to be comfortable with who you are.
That's
You
right.
have to know who you are.
That's right.
And when you do that, you understand what your limitations are, what your I think your perspective on life is broader. You kind of get it
Right.
better, if that makes sense. So,
Yes.
yeah, you do have to understand yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, God, you have to know you.
You do.
So let me read this piece too. It says the social script clearly says that a man. It's kind of funny. A man should be ready for sex, rock hard, and down to go at essentially any moment of any damn day. I added the damn part.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, okay.
But this just isn't realistic in any way. When a man feels pressure to get an erection, it is far less likely that he will be able to get or sustain one. It's a sexual catch-22. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Do a lot of your couples have issues with, I guess, sex?
Yeah, but it's not those.
Oh, wow.
It's not that.
It's not that at
no,
all.
it's
Oh.
it's I probably
I guess they probably
I
wish
have
it
heard
could
that
be
once or twice, I think, over the years, but
Right,
but not often.
right.
Often it is sexless marriages,
Yeah,
or it is, wives just not interested, you know, busy kids, usually that's what it is.
right.
And it's tough.
Yeah,
It's a tough situation around, and trying to get to a even place.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I talk to my clients about fantasy and reality.
right.
Because we want to work and hard, and we want to have all these things and live a certain lifestyle and have all that, and we need 2 incomes to do that most of the time.
Right.
But we also want kids, and we want a great house, and we want it, we want all these things, and there's only so much time in a day
Right.
and so much stress a person can handle. So
Mhm.
we just need to figure out, we need to unpack, what life really looks like.
Sure.
And then figure out, how do we fit it in and have it be real
Right.
and pleasurable and look forward to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
on both parties, on both sides. And a lot of times you got to give something to get something.
Oh yeah, all the time.
And
All the
a lot of times men feel like I'm giving because I'm providing, or I'm doing,
Right.
and I'm like, that's not it. That's not it.
That's not it.
Not it. No,
Right, right.
It's not it.
What-
It's not it. But we can work through and we can find what's it for your spouse or
Right.
your wife or your relationship. You can get there.
Right.
You
Right.
can
Right.
get there. And a lot of times you have to do it out a little bit to
Right.
then get what you want, how you want it, and when you want it.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Of course. Wow.
Because I have a couple who were in a long time sexless marriage and now are having sex pretty often. And it's a good thing. And they're enjoying life with each other all over again.
So okay. So you've got that kind of type of client.
Mm-hmm.
Now on the other end of the spectrum, those clients that cheat on each other.
Yeah, I have that.
Sorry, I was going
Oh,
to say
yeah.
that does happen too.
Oh yeah. Oh, it does. It does happen. And
But if they're cheating on each other, why are they in the marriage?
yeah, well, a lot of times, and I say this often, and I'll have to unpack it at some point.
Right.
But usually, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with you and nothing to do with you all
Okay.
at the same time.
Okay.
Yes, and men and women cheat for various reasons that
Mhm.
are on both ends of the spectrum.
Right.
All the way from one end to the other. But I think every situation is different.
Right.
And why people cheat, how they cheat, when they cheat, how often they cheat, and who they're cheating with,
Right.
it matters.
All of that plays into it.
All of that plays into it, yeah.
Interesting.
As to how you get out of it, how you unpack it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of people that are getting ready to cheat, which I'm grateful for, that I catch them before they get there.
They're getting ready to.
Yeah, yeah, they're
Wow.
getting ready to, and
Okay.
because ultimately, some want to,
Right.
they just bored and they need something different, and on both sides they're
Right.
bored.
Right. Right.
But then that's something you can fix, but you got to work at it.
Yeah.
And it takes two parties to be a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And others are just, they're reluctant, to
To stay in it.
they want out.
Oh.
They just want out. They want to be free. They want to do it different. They're bored. They don't want to do this anymore. They want to be out of the relationship,
Oh, wow.
not just the sex part.
Oh.
Some
sure.
people just cheating because of sex.
Right.
Some people want to be out of the relationship completely. They don't
Right.
like the person anymore. So
just don't like you.
yeah, I don't like you anymore. I mean, I don't. They don't like you. I mean, they don't like
my
them
God.
anymore. So
Okay.
it's easy to go straight to sex when you
Right.
don't like your partner.
Straight-
if you're
you mean
not
straight to
caring.
sex with
So
somebody
else.
else. I
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. If you're not careful, it'll happen in a minute.
Wow.
It'll happen in a minute. Yeah. And then how do you get out of a relationship that, I try to walk my clients through, even people that come to me and say, I'm done, I'm out, I'm through, I'm ready to go. I can't do this, not another second. I always walk them back because I think it's easy to get here without having done any of the work in the middle.
Right. Yeah.
So we got to go back to kind of where this started,
Yep.
and we got to walk through, and we got to do some things to make sure we've done everything that we can in this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them don't like that, but
They don't want to do the work.
they don't want to do the work. No.
Okay.
Because they don't like you. Remember, I'm
true,
taking
true,
you
true.
all the way
Gotcha.
back to you. You
Okay.
like this person,
Yeah.
and because some things are small,
Right.
and they get blown up so big that now it's taking the oxygen out of the room.
Exactly.
And
Yep.
if we can go back to where it started and just take a simple pen and go boop,
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden now you have an empty room and it's full of oxygen. Now we can start this process over again.
Right.
How not to get back here.
Without getting into any kind of specifics, of course, but what's like maybe one of the craziest reasons somebody decided to end their relationship or marriage? If there are any
Craziest.
Yeah.
Craziest. Well, we have I have varying ones that I wouldn't call them crazy.
Right.
I just think that they are superficial.
Wow.
And they don't like that. And they would give up the entire relationship, family and it all, because of it. See, to me, that's crazy talk.
Right.
This is crazy talk.
Right,
But I mean,
right. Yeah.
this is crazy talk. But money is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Money is a stressor. Huge stressor.
Yeah.
Especially those high spenders. I have a few of the ladies
Mm-hmm.
who are just, I call it just being downright disrespectful to the money. They just,
Right.
I mean, they spend it like it's just printed downstairs on the copier.
Right.
It's just, and when your husband is working double and overtime and all this, and then at the end there's still, things are late and all that. They don't know how to manage those, so they're just like, I'm
Right.
out. I can do bad all by myself. I don't need this. So we have there. It's, I mean, it goes the gamut.
Yeah.
Family members.
Family members.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Family. Yeah. Family. Extended family
Right.
issues
Interesting.
are pretty relevant. Yeah.
That's everything from mama's boys to
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Mama's boys to mother-in-laws to siblings to stepkids.
So you've run
yeah.
across all of these things.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
17 years. Yeah, I've run across a lot.
Damn, Lisa.
Yeah. So
That's a lot.
It is. Yeah, it's a lot. Oof. But it's great, though. I mean, ultimately, I think it's my calling.
Right.
It's what I'm supposed to do to help people live better lives, happier lives. And I think it's a trickle-down effect.
Mm-hmm.
People say happy wife, happy life. To a great part, I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. But I think we have to start with the husbands. We have to start with the men.
Okay.
Not necessarily husbands, just the men
Okay.
in general. Men that hurt women in buckets, just with no thought. They use them, they
Right.
talk crazy to them, they treat them badly.
Right.
You just pushing that woman into another man for that man who might be ready and might be a great guy,
Right.
who's now dealing with this woman who's severely hurt and feels,
Yeah.
like, oh, you're going to be just like the last guy.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a lot. It's, I can't say the word, but I'm going to try. I mean, really. I mean, I feel like there's this, if I can help some men deal with women,
Right.
people like me,
Mm-hmm.
and I can help women
When you say people
understand
like
men.
you, but are you saying women who are, what are you saying?
Women. Just a woman. Just a woman.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
nothing in it at all. Just a woman.
Right. Right.
Women, we as women, and I don't let men forget that I am a woman.
Yeah.
So you'll get both sides. They'll get both sides from me because I will speak, from a woman, how I would think, what
Right.
she's going to do, how this is going to go down if you do it this way. But I also say, okay, this is how you need to do this.
Right.
This is how you need to keep yourself out this trouble. Because remember, I don't judge. I
Yeah.
just coach.
Yeah.
So it depends. I got guys that have other families who I've helped keep their secret.
They have two separate families. I'm sorry, two separate. Really? In the
Yes.
same city?
No.
Well, it doesn't matter where.
Usually they're not.
I'm
in the
like,
same
how the
city.
hell does that happen?
But they're not far. They're not in the same city, but they're not far. And it's easier when they're closer. When they're far away, it's a little more difficult. It's a little more difficult when they're farther away. It's easier to keep the secret, but it's harder to keep the relationships. It's harder to, manage them when they're too far away.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had them both ways. So.
Wow. I just like, simplicity.
Yes. Yes. I get that.
That is not simple.
No. It's not simple.
Damn. Okay. So what do we got next here? I put all that stuff on there, all that fancy stuff. I didn't mean to do that.
Fancy.
Are you coming up? What you gonna do? Oh, new show announcement. I'm so
New
late.
show announcement. Ah,
There it is.
there it
So,
is.
everybody, just to let you know, yeah, Lisa is going to have her own show on the network called The Reader. Now, Lisa explained to me already that she couldn't even really read this because of the font, but the name of the show is going to be called The Reader. And because I think Lisa has this ability to really read people, not just men, but read people. And, after she listens to the person, after she uh, s- kind of observes everything that that person is doing, then she can kind of give them their, I guess, your prognosis.
And my thoughts and
Yeah,
how we can get past or by or through or whatever it is.
yeah.
We can do it.
And so the idea that you have this show, and now you're able to reach, I don't know, hundreds of or even thousands of people that are, if they don't watch immediately, they can certainly watch the shows later.
Yes.
But give me an idea of what kind of topics you're going to tackle.
Oh, we're gonna get there.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
we're gonna tackle. We're gonna talk about real stuff, real
Right,
life.
right,
What's going on in real people's lives every day,
right.
and how they manage that, and um, how they live the life that they want to live in their relationships.
Right.
How do they have a loving relationship if that's what they want? How do they manage, being single in a world today?
Right.
How do you do that?
Yep.
And how do you deal with all those emotions that come up with it? But not only in those intimate relationships, men and women,
Right.
but those extended relationships. How the relationships with your parents, how the relationship with your friends,
Mm-hmm.
extended coworkers,
Right.
neighbors. How are you existing in the world, dealing with people?
Right. Right.
So we're going to talk about a lot of it is going to be talking about relationships. I'm hoping to have real people reach out to me
Right.
and talk and ask questions and tell me what your problems are,
Right.
and come on the show.
Right. Right.
I'd
Right.
love for them to come on the show. I know we're going to figure out how we can help those people that don't want people to see them, but they'll want to
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. 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 Of course. Of course. Yeah. We can
we'll
do that.
we'll figure it out. But I want to help people. I
Mm-hmm.
really want to help them. What are you going through right now?
Right. Right.
Heartbreak is a big one for me. I think there are some phases to heartbreak, to getting over heartbreak,
Mm-hmm.
that I think people need to try and help them get through. Heartbreak is hard. It
Right.
really. That's why it's called heartbreak.
Yep.
It really is. It really is.
It's a real thing.
It is.
Yeah.
And it makes me, I I hear a lot about heartbreak,
Mm-hmm.
and how people manage that, how they deal with it, and how my thing is how you think about it
Mm-hmm.
is a part of the healing. So
But heartbreak is really depression.
it is, but it is no question, it's
Right.
depression, but it's also dealing with the realities of loss.
Of course. Yeah.
It is really
Yeah.
it really is a part of grief.
Yep.
And if you get through the 5 stages of grief, it's real. You get through heartbreak
Mm-hmm.
quicker.
Right.
But understanding how you got there, understanding what parts you played,
Yeah.
understanding how you move forward, what's next, how do you get to what's next, is so important in giving people kind of hope and tools to, you got to go through it.
Yeah.
I tell
Yeah.
people all the time, you can say, oh, no, I don't care about that. It didn't matter. Okay. That's only going to last but for so long.
Right.
And then it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks.
Right.
So let's deal with it. Let's deal with it now.
Well, the funny thing is, how you know that people are still affected by certain things when they run up on somebody and all of a sudden it's like
Oh yeah,
they're gasping.
yeah, yeah,
Man or woman, it doesn't matter. It's like,
yeah,
oh shit, I'm so. I didn't know you were going to be here. Well, yes, I'm here.
yeah. I'm here.
I'm good. How are you? Apparently, not so good.
And that's okay. And it's not true. It doesn't mean that they're not good. But people who have real deep relationships with people,
Yeah,
and they take a piece of your heart with them, that piece is gone.
yeah, it is.
I mean, it is. So when you see them, that place
Yeah,
reacts.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It doesn't mean that you are over it and you haven't gotten through it. It just means it's going to react. It's going to react, and that's okay.
Well, yeah, you got that right. Well, hold on a second here. Lisa, I will say that I'm glad to have you here on the network. I really am. It's a different perspective. Um, One show called The Slant with Brandon Risher. Brandon is a psychologist, so he talks about and deals with relationships on that level, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But when people are gifted at certain things, I think that is something very, very different. And the idea that you're able to, or people are kind of drawn to you,
Right.
to me, that kind of says something. It really does. So, again, I'm glad that you're here. We'll get you up to speed on how to intro your show and the body of it and the whole 9 yards. But
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I am. Lisa Crawford, the reader. Men have issues too. I love it. I love it. I do. That's awesome. I like it. It's gonna be good. I'm as Vicky would say, okay now, all right now. I'm getting there. So yes, I'm looking forward to it.
I wonder if Vicky's watching. I can't tell personally, but
I don't know. She might have texted me already. I don't know.
interesting.
But also I have my glasses on, so I can't see nothing.
Yeah, well, I get that. I totally get it.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, listen, again, we talked about a lot before even announcing this, and all of it. Everything we were talking about is related to what you do, which I think is great. The other piece is sometimes, you may come on your show and say, tonight, folks, I'm not talking about relationships. I'm going to talk about whatever it is. And you're free and open to do that. The good thing about an open format show is that you can talk about whatever you want to.
Right.
For as long as you want to. I encourage people to bring guests on, bring experts on their show so they can talk about it. You can even Skype or FaceTime people into the show, which is kind of cool.
That is great.
We've done that
yes.
2 or 3 times already, which is great. So you have these technologies at your feet that's able to do certain things. You've got a background that is phenomenal. You've got your contact list that is phenomenal as well. People know you.
Yes.
And so, listen, here's an outlet now that you're able to tell people what you do and really help them.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it so much. I really am looking
Good.
forward to it. Yes. So you'll be hearing from me, everybody out there. I'll be asking, did you watch the show? Did you send in a question? Did you pay attention? Did you learn something? So we'll see. I'm excited.
Good.
Yeah, I am.
In about a week, you'll have your own Facebook page for the reader. Instagram is something different. It's too much. It's a bunch of red tape with that. But you will have your Facebook page for sure. What the heck else is going to happen? I don't know.
Yes, we're just
I don't know.
We're gonna figure it out,
Yes,
though,
we
right?
are.
We're
Yes,
gonna
we
figure it
are.
out. Yes. And I'm gonna be on someday. I guess one day
We'll
we're gonna
figure out
it out.
your
yeah.
timetable. Yeah,
That's
you
good.
sure will. I know the second and fourth weeks are fairly booked up, so the first and third are fairly open,
Okay.
and they're all at 7:30 time frame. The thing that we're having to do now is book people at the 9 p.m. hour. I'm not suggesting that's you, but we're getting to the point where we're going to have to start doing
That. Yes.
But we'll look at the calendar, see what's going to kind of fit your schedule,
yes.
and we'll just make it happen.
Okay. Sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. Looking forward to it.
So at the end of every show, when somebody's on my show, I always have a bunch of questions that I ask them. So
Uh-oh.
yeah, this is easy. So
Okay.
here's the first one.
Okay.
If you were at home on a rainy Sunday afternoon, what movie would you be watching?
The Notebook.
You still like that movie?
I love it.
Really?
I love The Notebook.
It is a good movie, though.
It is a good movie. I love it. I love The Notebook.
Ooh,
Yes.
that white man loved that woman.
He did love that woman. He did. Do we all want love like that? Yes.
Not that the color of the guy had anything to do with it.
It did not.
No,
It was just,
but-
it's a great book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I'll watch Love Jones. Those are my two favorites.
Yeah, Love Jones. Yeah.
I like The Gladiator too. So it's one of those three.
That's my movie.
That's my movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you not entertained?
Right.
Okay. What do you, and you can just give me this in a short blurb, but what do you think about the political climate that we're in right now?
Disgusting.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's sad. It is a call to action for
Yeah.
for people who look like us
Yeah.
to have our voices be heard
Yeah.
and to make a statement about what is acceptable and what is no longer acceptable.
Exactly.
And we have got to make more noise than we have ever made before.
Got to do like what Puerto Rico did,
What?
Hong Kong.
That's
whatever.
right.
You know, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we have got to make real noise.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What do you think about Black Lives Matter, Me Too, the whole immigration thing going on
You know,
in general?
we are immigrants, but we were brought here.
Sure.
But this is a
Hell,
country.
they're immigrants.
Yeah, this is a country built on immigrants. It is
Right.
all immigrant. We are all. I mean, and it is absurd to think that our brown brethren are being targeted, and we're not saying anything.
Right.
You know, I think we should be, to me, just like with gay people, we should be at the forefront of their argument, their march, their rights,
Yeah.
I mean, it is absurd that you have children at the border without their parents.
Yeah.
That you having people being held in the conditions that they're being held at all.
Right.
Now, granted, I understand that they need to do it the right way.
Sure.
But we also need to make the right way a simple way.
Exactly. Yep.
They are doing jobs and not a soul listening on here or in this country.
Nobody wants to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
We
Nobody
don't
wants to
want to. We don't want to go out and pick the fruit that we eat. We don't want to do
Oh,
that.
hell, even cut the grass.
We don't want to cut. What?
Yeah.
We don't want to do it. But what do we say? And these are tax-paying, loving family people
Yep.
who want a better life for their children
right.
and themselves.
That's right.
It's despicable. I cannot even imagine what the other people in the world think about us on so many levels. Not just the immigration, on
It ain't
Syria,
good.
on I mean, just
Right.
it's just
not good.
it's just not good.
Can't be good.
We know it's not good.
Right.
It ain't good to us. So
Right,
you know
right.
it's not good to people.
Yep.
You know, yeah, it's terrible.
Here's a good one for you. What part of the human face is your favorite?
The lips.
Oh, that was quick. Most people that sit there and think about it. Oh, God, I don't know. You were quick with yours.
Yeah,
The
I love it.
lips. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Favorite restaurant? Anywhere. It doesn't have to be here.
My favorite restaurant? Oh my God, it's on Miami Beach, and I can't. The Pelican.
Oh.
I think it's called the Pelican. Yeah,
Okay.
it was. Oh my goodness, the seafood. Oh my God, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was awesome. Oh my goodness.
Favorite drink?
Sweet tea.
Wow. Okay.
Sweet tea.
Okay.
This is probably my vice, sweet tea.
Yeah.
So I got these hips from all this sweet tea.
Plain old damn sweet tea.
And 1800 if we're gonna keep it straight. Coconut
Sweet
coconut
tea gave me
18.
my booty.
Coconut 1800 if we talking about the hot stuff.
There we go. All right.
I only drink tequila.
Do you smoke cigars?
I do not.
Okay. Just asking.
Yeah, no.
So where do you go when you close your eyes and you inhale and exhale? Where do you take yourself?
To the beach.
No beach in particular?
Just blue water.
Yeah.
I love sand, blue water, the
Yeah.
sun.
Yeah.
laying out, getting a tan,
Yep.
just smelling the. Oh my gosh, it's so awesome.
It
I
is nice,
love it.
isn't it?
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
What's something that you've tried but you will never ever do it again?
I took my son recently to Carowinds, and it got on the kiddie roller coaster. So I would never get on this thing again. I would never get on the kiddie roller coaster again.
Okay. All right.
I used to love roller coasters when I was a kid.
Right.
Now I can't even stand it. Oh no, I tried it as an old person.
That's not it, is it?
No,
No.
I'm
I
never,
know.
I'm never getting on the
I
kiddie
hear
roller
you.
coaster again. Mm-mm.
Favorite place to travel to?
It would have to be an island. It would have to be an
Yeah.
island.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have to be. I mean, and I like so many of them. It's Punta Cana probably is my favorite.
It's nice, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Punta
nice.
Cana is probably my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a good one.
Yes.
What or who is God?
He is my savior. He is my life. He is my provider. He is my hope.
Yeah.
He is the center of my being. He's my judgment. Keeps me straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He's very special to me.
Awesome. Lisa Crawford, thank you very much.
Thank you. I enjoy being here so much. Thank you.
This is pretty cool, and again, I love the idea that you're part of the network now.
Yeah.
That's a big deal
It's a
to
big
me,
deal. Yeah.
and the network is growing. It's so funny because I put this cap on, how many shows. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop this thing at 7. Well, obviously that didn't happen because we're now at 10.
10. I'm number 10.
You're number 10.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
And so I got away from saying that I'm gonna stop having shows. The thing for me is if I think somebody is interesting and they can bring a lot to the show, whatever show it is,
Yes.
then I'm gonna be okay with it. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, we got to go ahead and do this thing.
That's right.
So, I've got to my goal is to develop a full-blown 24/7 network.
I love that.
So the
I do.
podcast is of course the very first things that we're going to that's here, and we're going to come up with other programming, a news department, and all that stuff a little bit later on.
Scripted, unscripted
Yeah,
shows.
yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Our own content.
Mhm.
So, but again,
Look, I got a bunch of ideas.
good.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, I got a bunch of ideas.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
So coming up for the rest of the week, folks, tomorrow. Oh, did I do it to this thing too? I think I did. I did.
Fancy.
Hold on. Tomorrow on the Deluxe Podcast Show is this young man, Young Content. I don't know his real name. Doesn't matter. Anyway, we're gonna be talking about art, contentment, and futurism. I know this one guy, can't think of what's his last name now, but his whole background is in futurism.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not that familiar with it, these people are like predictors of what's going to happen based on what we've done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow.
That's
Now, I
interesting.
don't know where Young Content is with that, but we're going to find out tomorrow. So it'll be pretty
Oh,
interesting.
that'll be interesting. Yeah.
That'll be on the Deluxe Podcast Show. Then the next day on Wednesday, Frankly Speaking with Thomas Farley. This is his actual very first show. And he's talking about atheism. Is that a bad thing? What does it mean? Let's find out. We're going to be talking about it. And the good thing about the network is that we talk about any and everything.
Mm-hmm.
People should know.
They should.
Don't get me wrong. Listen, I pray damn near every day. I don't have any issue with anybody who, if they say that they're an atheist, I'm like, hey, okay, cool. I'm good with it. But
Whatever.
that's going to be timing on Wednesday at 7:30. It's going to be a pretty good show with his guest, Paul Kennard. Kind of cool. Thursday, Joel's show is going to be on Thursday. I don't know what his topic is going to be. He hadn't get back with me yet. But knowing Joel, it's going to be a good political topic. One that many of us may not agree with, but that's Joel's thing because he's great at pulling things out that people will say, "What the hell are you talking about, Joel?" But I like that.
Yes.
So I think it's a good thing. So that'll be on Thursday. Let me talk to you about this. Crafted is a brand new thing that we started. It's going to debut November the 15th. And this is where vendors come on a live show, come here to the studio on a live show. And then they talk about and sell their own thing. It could be soap, leather goods, clothing. So each
Awesome.
one has 30 minutes to do it. And you have to come in with your own phone number, web address, whatever the heck it is. And it's pretty cheap. It's $125 to come on the show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's what it is until December. Oh, I'm sorry, until January.
Uh-oh. Better get in here.
Yeah, better get in.
You better get in here.
But that's what Crafted is about, and that's kind of some of the highlights right there of Crafted. When you're on the show, you'll be on there with a show host. But the big thing is to make sure you tell people who you are, what you're selling. We're going to, and I tell people all the time, if your inventory is like you have 50 of whatever it is, when you're on this show, make sure you have more like 300. Because we had one young lady on one of the shows. She has her own cosmetics line. By the end of the show, she is sold out, and
Oh,
that wasn't
wow.
even the purpose of that show. She was just talking about it. So she sold out. I'm like, hey, there's something to this.
Yes.
So that's where Crafted came from.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, it is.
Giving us an outlet, giving us somewhere.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
give it-
right.
yeah, give it-
There's a lot of people of color that make extraordinary things, but
Yes.
no one really knows
Nobody
about
knows
it.
about it. That's right.
Here they can come, people can put a face with the product, and they can buy the product right then. So that part of it is really, really good. So that's what Crafted is about.
That's
Channel
awesome.
13 is for anybody who's a former radio personality, or if you've been into podcasting for quite some time, but you don't have a real home, you can come here. $150 a month, up to, what did I say, 2 shows a month or 3 shows, up to 3 guests.
It shows.
I didn't put it on there.
No, you didn't.
Well, damn it, I'll say it right now, it's 2.
Say it now, quick.
But at least here you don't have to bring, you bring no gear. You just bring yourself and your guests, and you can produce your own shows. So anyway, that's Channel 13. Folks, that is it. Here's all the shows, including the brand new one,
Yay.
The Reader.
The Reader.
That's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I know it's 10. 10. Yay.
Lisa, that's really cool.
That's really great. I'm excited about
That
that.
is so cool. I'm very
Yes.
glad that you're
I'm looking forward
that
to
you're,
it.
here. Well, actually, I can go to that right now. So, folks, we're going to close out the show. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And we will see you on another show on tomorrow. It's already going.
Tomorrow at 7.
So, we'll see you.
See ya.